Welcome. In this video I'm going to be taking a look at my 2000 Land Cruiser UZJ100. So this is my second Land Cruiser. This is my first one here. This is a 1997 Land Cruiser and I've done a number of videos on it, and I'll put a link below to the playlist I have on this, and I'm starting a new playlist for this Land Cruiser. So any future videos will be in there. Maybe I'll do a comparison video someday. But let's take a look at this Land Cruiser. So this has 130,000 miles on it. The body on it is in incredibly good shape. So you can see here, there's a few scratch marks here, but this isn't anything that couldn't be buffed out. I did notice a couple nicks here on the grill where there's just tiny little rust spots forming. The bumper looks amazing. This year had the glass headlight lenses, so those aren't going to fade. But these have faded. The left one is broken. This one does work. But I bought some aftermarket replacements for these, so hopefully I'll make an upcoming video on those. So that should look really nice if those aftermarket replacements look good. So we can look at the rest here. This has the roof rack. It looks very nice. Now, probably the worst rust on the body is right here. So, and I think this side was worse than the other side, but there is some rust right around here that I need to figure out how to either stop or take care of. Running boards look really nice. They're very straight. And these appear to be aluminum on the backside, so they won't rust. These have some Yokohama Geolander HT tires on them. The wheels are in very good condition. They do have a little bit of brake dust here I need to clean off, but that's nothing I can't handle. The trim on the side has this decal in the middle, and it's getting worn off, but from what I understand, this is a 3M product, and I might be able to get a replacement of that. It's the backside. Backside looks really nice. It does have a hitch. I'll be adding a brake controller and a 7-pin connector there. And here's the passenger side. So I only have one key for this, so I'm hoping to get more keys for this with the keyless remote so I can open the doors. So right now I stick the key in the car and I turn to the right twice to open up all the doors. And then I can lock it the same way. Now this has a similar problem as my previous Land Cruiser. If we shift into drive, the light's burned out. So I'll probably be taking this apart and replacing the bulb. I did actually think about taking one of the bulbs out, like the L bulb, and putting it in the D, because I'll rarely use the L. But that being said, if I'm tearing it apart, I might as well just buy a new bulb. So let's pop the hood. So this has the hood gasket. It's intact. It looks really nice. Here's the engine. So I have made one repair on this, and I'm hoping to have a video out on it. I replaced these struts. These were broken. They weren't holding the hood up, so if I get that video up, it'll be in the playlist. I did take this to a car wash and clean the engine bay, just to get the dust off of it. But this looks very nice in here. The battery is 6 years old, so I'll be looking to replace that soon. But I haven't gone over it in detail yet, but it looks pretty good. It does have a little bit of a squeak, so I don't know if this belt is bad, so I may just replace the belt. It could also be one of the pumps, like the steering pump or something. And it's not terrible. It's just occasionally you hear a little bit of squeal when you start it up. The air conditioning does not work on this, so that's something I need to fix or get fixed. So one reason I got this was for this V8. I tow a trailer, and this model can tow 1,500 pounds more than my previous Land Cruiser. It only has 18 more horsepower than my previous Land Cruiser though, but it does have more torque. I think torque on this is around 320, and my old Land Cruiser was 275. The timing belt was replaced at 73,000 miles, so we're good on that. I don't know the exact date on there though. It's hard to read the last digit of the year. So let's look at the interior. Here's the door. So it has this burl like my previous one did, and it's showing its age. Now you can replace this. I was going to replace it on my other one. I never did. So the interior could use a little bit of cleaning here, which is normal for a 22-year-old car, but it doesn't have anything super excessive. Probably the worst part of the interior is this mat here. I mean, and if this is the worst part of the interior, I think that's a good sign. I say the worst part. This is probably the actual worst part, because this could be replaced. This is probably the worst part here. This is the driver's seat. Has this wear, but now the seats on my other Land Cruiser are just in terrible shape in the front. So you can see the rest of the seat here looks pretty good. So I feel like the seats in old Toyotas is kind of the Achilles heel of the entire vehicle, but the dash looks incredibly good. There's no cracking or anything on it. Steering wheel has a little bit of, I don't know if it's wear or looks like maybe a little wear here, but the sides and bottom are very good. Dash looks good. One of my favorite features are these controls for the rear vents. So on my previous landcruiser, you actually had to get out of the vehicle and open those windows. Now you can just do it right here with some button presses. This has the 6-disc CD changer here. I have a cassette adapter in here right now. It has the antenna up down. That's broken on my previous landcruiser. It works in this one. And I think almost everything works in here except for those fog lights. So that's in good shape. Has hazard lights, center diff lock. It has the auto climate control. I'm guessing that's standard on here. On my previous landcruiser, that was an option, and I guess it was an option you didn't want on it. It didn't work very well from what I understood. So this knob is a little loose. I don't know if that's something I can tighten up, but like I said, the AC is not working, so hopefully I'll get that fixed. Has a clock in here. Has the rear defrost. This is the rear vent controls, so the people in the back have their own controls. And here's the, actually I am not sure what. Oh, this must have heated mirrors. Okay, so that would be the heated mirrors. It's summertime right now, so I haven't even played around with any of that. Has an ashtray. Like my previous landcruiser, this has lots of ashtrays in it. I think there are 4 or 5. It has a lighter socket here, but then over here it has a 12-volt socket. So there's actually 2 12-volt sockets in the dash. I'm considering switching one of these out to a USB charger port, like a permanent one. And this looks very similar to my old landcruiser. We have power and second, so that allows you to start in second mode. That changes the shift points. We have the shifter for the 4-wheel drive. So this is all-time 4-wheel drive like my previous landcruiser. There's a little bit of wear here. There's some like bubbling in this decal here. This does have heated seats. I have not tested those. It has that burl around here. It's a little bit worn out, and we have cup holders. So that is a huge improvement over the previous one, is it has cup holders. It has a total of, I think, 6 cup holders maybe. So glove box looks really good. We have center console. Has the top area. The bottom area has some cup holders here. Oh yeah, these are more cup holders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cup holders, I think. But this comes out. Here we have storage. That has a 12-volt socket in it. So the nice thing about the 12-volt socket here is I can potentially use that electricity to put sockets behind this, because obviously there's no sockets in the second row, but I can add some USB ports back there or something. Let's go up. We have an auto-dimming rear view mirror. Above that we have reading lights. This is a blank. I'm not sure what would go in there. We have a moonroof. The previous owner said the moonroof was getting to be a little slow, so I may try and lubricate that or replace the motor gears. Passenger seat looks very good, so I'll probably do deep cleaning on these seats and put some conditioner on them. Floor mat over here looks better, but not perfect, so I may look for some reproduction floor mats to put in here. Overall, the front area is incredibly good shape. Just needs a little bit of stuff on here. Let's head to the middle row. Here we have that ashtray cubby here. It's a step, carpet. So a lot of this is similar to my previous landcruiser. It has these nets on the backs of the seats, and you can see they've stretched out. I think this is supposed to be a bungee here, but it gets so stretched out. That might be replaceable if I took the whole seat apart, so we'll see. Here's a blank here, not sure what that's for, but this is a cup holder. So these seem usable. I think cup holders in newer cars tend to be better than these older cars, but you can put a water bottle in there or something. It has speakers in the doors. I forgot to mention this had speakers in the doors, down below, and up near the mirror. And I don't think there's any speakers in the dash. It does have a vent under the steering wheel to cool between your legs, so that's nice. Then this is I think it's a 40-60 split. So if we pull on this lever here, this pops down. We can push forward here. I think we need 2 hands. And this whole thing tilts forward. So this strap is in here, and it doesn't look like it's ever been taken out of here. This here, okay, this is the pull here to push this forward if you're in the back seat. Now, a nice thing about this model over my previous one is it has the bars in the bottom, and these things pop off here to cover these up. So if you wanted to sleep back here or something, you don't have to deal with these. They're covered and they're smooth. And here's the back seat. So these fold up to the sides. They fold a little different from the previous model. Has carpet here. I vacuumed this. I could maybe shampoo this carpet to get it a little cleaner, so I may do that. We look at the roof. Let's look over here. We have the courtesy light here. We have reading lights on both sides. I'm not sure what that little thing is there. Over here we have the climate controls for the back. Sorry, they're upside down. So that's a nice feature. Here we have ashtray, cup holder. Let's head to the back. This is nearly identical to the previous landcruiser. Same thing here. This opens up. I'm going to leave this up for now. This feels lighter weight than on my previous landcruiser. This did have a cargo net in it. There's a 12-volt outlet here. This is your jack and your tool kit. This comes with wrenches and screwdrivers and things, like my previous landcruiser. Here's a seat belt holder. Looks like we have a speaker there. That might be a subwoofer. So these seats fold up. You pull on this lever. They kind of slide back and up. And then it has straps that hold them onto the handles. So that's like my previous one. In the back we have a light. We have 3 vents back here. So this looks like it had a really nice ventilation system when it worked. So hopefully I can get that working. Over here we have storage. So this pulls up. Has storage under it. That opens and has some storage. Has some cup holders there. And there is no ashtray on this side. So this is a 7-seater. You have 3 in the middle row, 2 in the back. So there's the full view of the interior. But it looks really good. Just needs a little bit of cleaning here. You can see there's a little dirt there, but nothing I can't handle. Now if we look up here, this is incredibly clean up here. Like my other one from sitting outside has leaves and stuff in it. So that's very nice. No rust anywhere around there. But we will get to the rust. Actually, let's do that next. So everything looked pretty good up top, but it's not perfect. Down below, there's quite a bit of rust on the bottom. So we can see the frame here. This is the fuel tank cover. There's a lot of rust. Some of it's kind of flaking off, but it's not gone yet. And it's not anywhere near gone. So my plan is to clean this up and then put a wet protectant on it. I actually talked to someone who might be doing that for me, and that should protect it and preserve it. But I do live in the Midwest, so there's quite a bit of rust on the bottom here. Now my previous Land Cruiser does not have a whole lot of rust on the bottom. It lived most of its life down south, and I haven't been driving it in the winter. So I did an inspection the other day on this to find anything wrong with it, and I found a couple problems down here. And I don't know if this is going to come through well, but this is the rear sway bar link, and it's missing the bushing up top. It's essentially broken, and the other one is not in much better shape. So I have ordered some new sway bar links. So this was making a clunking sound when I turned some corners, so I'll be replacing those. The other problem I had is this wheel had a little bit of play in it, and I thought it might be a ball joint, but I think it's the wheel bearing. So I'll need to tear that apart and tighten up that wheel bearing. I may grease it at the same time or may not. We'll see. If we look under the front here, it doesn't look bad. This metal here has a little rust right there. I mean, that would be easy to paint actually too. But the frame up here, it's not bad. Lower control arms have some rust, but it's not too bad. The CV boots all looked really good, so it's nothing I'm going to have to deal with right away. There is a plastic splash shield back here that's zip tied up. So I may look into replacing that or something, but for now it's fine. The rest of the suspension components seem very good. The shocks aren't leaking at all, but they seem like they may be old, so I may look into getting some different shocks. I feel like I could get a little bit better ride out of this, although the ride's not bad, but I think I could get a little bit better ride and control if I got some different shocks, so I may look into that. I really like the Bilstein shocks I have on the other Land Cruiser. I don't think it'll show up from here, but the muffler was also recently replaced. So I think I covered most things about this. So my plans for this right now, and plans will change, but my plan is to get a brake controller on this so I can tow our camper. I've ordered sway bar links. I've ordered the fog lights, so I plan on replacing those. I want to get that bearing checked out one of these days. I may do a transmission fluid flush on this and check other fluids, grease joints, things like that, basic maintenance. I'd like to do a deeper clean. I'm no expert detailer, but I'd like to do a deeper clean of the interior, and I'd like to get some sort of protection on the paint, wax or ceramic or something. And I'd like to do something with the rust there so it doesn't spread. And then I want to drive it. So it drives very nice. It's smooth. It's got decent power. In some ways, the old one seems a little torquier at times, but it depends on what you're doing. Like this one passes way nicer. It's way smoother to pass. This one, I think it might be those shocks. Feels more agile to drive than this one. The big difference here is this one has a solid front axle. This one is independent front suspension. So I'll probably be posting videos on this as I did with this one, maintenance videos, things like that. And I'll put that playlist below if you want to catch up those videos. But for now, that's all for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. If you like this video, please click like. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate if you could do that. And thanks for watching. Until next time, goodbye.